Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at Ethereum. Before we jump into the price action, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you are enjoying the content, please smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. And why not leave us some feedback down below? We're always happy to hear from you, so drop it down there. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Also in the description you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Okay, so let's get into all this fun stuff now. So primarily we are still looking for the fact that we could actually look to complete this fifth wave here, and we are looking for that potential to drop down here, looking for this 1448 to this 1192 zone as a potential support zone if we do move lower down here. So what we're looking at here is whether we do actually have that possibility to extend up from here. So technically speaking, if I throw these fifth wave targets on, where is it? Go. Effectively, we have come up and we have met the 0.382 of the wave 1 to 3. So technically speaking, we could have completed into this high. However, we could also look for this move towards this 1 to 1 still. So this is something I'm still keeping an eye on. If we do move up higher, potentially we could look towards some of these targets like this 2.618 of wave 1 and actually looking to come back here in and retest the channel line here. So basically within this, what I'm looking for is whether we could see an extension in here to the upside or whether this is actually completed and we're actually going to look to start to break back down here and looking for this lower point. So if we want to talk about bullish perspectives here, what we'd be looking for is something like this. So we were talking about this yesterday that we could be in an A, a B, and a C wave to the downside. The thing is within this structure, we'd have to then say that instead of an ABC, it had been a WXY because of the fact that either that or this whole move into here needs to become the B wave, and then we actually look to break down from this point. This is also a possibility where we get this as a flat here, and then this is an ABC. So it is still possible that we can still look at this as a C wave, potentially from that point. If we want to look at it from here, we'd have to say it was a W, an X, and a Y. Then we'd have to look at this as a zigzag in here. And then basically that would be an A or a W, an X, and then a Y to the downside. So the 1 to 1 is actually still a bit lower, the 1656, and there is still potential we could see some more downside here. Just looking at this move, we can argue that we could have something like a diagonal in here as a 1 2, then a 1 2 3 4 5 4 5. So I mean it could potentially be completed, or this could be a fourth here. What I'd be looking out for, so if we're looking out for that possibility of having a fourth wave move here, the zone we'd have to be careful in would be this 382 to this 0.5 zone, this 1668 to this 1657. If we just see three wave structure develop up into this area, for instance, this is an A, this is a B, and then a C up into this zone, we could actually still see one more low come in here, and that target area would actually be a bit lower here. So with that 382, what we could look at, provided we don't get any further extension, would actually be a move down towards the 1613 to this 1599. So that's 1600 area. So if we do get a continuation to the downside here, that would be a possibility that we could see. We could see this continue to break down here. There is a possibility that there is some extension going on here to the downside, so we need to just be cautious of that. But basically the idea here is that for as long as we actually hold some of these zones, we're going to go over the other bullish option, but if as long as we hold this 1596 to this 1516 zone, we could be looking to set up with a 1 and a 2 here, where this becomes a 1 and a 2, and then we look for a bigger impulsive move to the upside for wave 3. So this is still possible. It's starting to this one is sort of making more sense than the other currently, but what we want to actually see is, this needs to prove itself. If we continue to set these lower highs here, and we continue to break down and potentially look for further extension down here, it starts to become less likely that we are in this wave 2. If we do get a move lower down here, and I'm just going to throw this target on here for a second. So if we do actually move down lower here towards this 1549, we'd have to be very careful that we don't actually start to have impulsive structure down. So we will discuss that as well within the video, so just make sure you stay tuned for that. So this is basically looking for the possibility that we could be within this wave 2. The subwaves here are indicating we could actually get one more wave down here, which would actually potentially look to bring us towards this 50% of this 1596. However, like I said, we need to be careful because until we actually start to come back up and take some of these highs, what we can end up doing is forming stuff like this, where potentially we could look at this as 1, 2, 3. We can argue that maybe this is actually completed into here. Then we come and we form a three-wave structure back up, find resistance, and then actually start to progress down. So yeah, we need to just be a bit cautious. Those rejection zones that we talked about for that third wave, as well as these zones here on the fib, this 50%, this 1670, you can see that golden pocket would actually be a retest of the structure here. And then 786. Once we start to break the 786, it becomes less likely that we're within an impulse, but it is still possible to come up higher towards this 854 area, and then even as high as this 1-to-1. But it's not very common that we get a move that as an impulse that comes into this zone. Normally 786 is sort of your cutoff point for an impulsive move when you're looking for that 1-2 situation. So if we do move above that, effectively it would make it less likely. So that's looking for this possibility like this. We haven't invalidated the potential of actually having a extension in here, where we're looking at this as a 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4, and then this is a diagonal for a fifth, and then potentially looking at this as a fourth wave from this point. So this is still possible. We did actually come down quite close to this 382 here. We don't want to move down further than this 1589 ideally, and invalidation would actually come by crossing this 1510. But for as long as we hold this zone, we could argue that we could actually start to see some impulsive structure here developing to the upside, in which case what I'd be looking for would be that possibility that we could actually look to move up towards this zone here of the 1794 to this 1754. So this is looking at the bullish side of this. But like I said, we need to get back above some of these key resistance and support lines here. We need to actually start to move up here in an impulsive way. Otherwise, this move starts to fall apart. If we can't break above that 786 each time and we just get a rejection and continue to the downside, then it starts to build that case for a bigger five-wave structure that could be playing out to the downside. But for as long as we hold this zone, we can start looking for this potential to move to the upside. We actually took a short on ETH up here somewhere at this, I think it was this 17 or 1720, somewhere up here yesterday. Just so that's quite nicely in profit at the moment. And we're looking for that possibility to continue this move to the downside. But obviously we need to be aware that we still have that potential to push upwards. Okay, so that's looking for the upside. Effectively, what we need to be careful of in the other direction is that if we have potentially set a high here, we can start arguing for as long as we fail to break above some of these key areas here. So this 1719, the 1727, and the 1742. Effectively, what we could be doing is setting up for some downside here. Like I said, we look at this as a 1-2. Potentially, this could be another 1-2. Then we start to form another five-wave structure here. This becomes, like I said, this could be a 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4, 5 into there, 4, and then 5. Or alternatively, it pushes down one more, and actually the third wave is here, where this is 1, 2, 3, and then we're forming a fourth wave here. Yeah, so there is still that potential. We want to see a nice clean break above this zone, above that fourth wave zone that we talked about, which was that 382, that 1657, and this 1668. For as long as we stay below that, we need to just be cautious that, like I said, we don't have this as a 1-2 down in here for 3, come back up for a fourth, and then actually break down one more time. So yeah, this is something we're gonna have to keep an eye on. This is going to be quite a key area. If we do move up higher, like I said, we need to be cautious around this 1670 to this 1698 zone. If we do face rejection in there, particularly this golden pocket area is quite an interesting zone here. We can see we got rejected off of it here, but it was supporting us previous to that point. So if we do get a bigger move up here, we'll be looking out for that 618 area. It wouldn't fit into this being a fourth wave anymore. Obviously, once we cross that 50%, it becomes you can't it would bring us really close to taking this wave 1 high, and it becomes less likely you're going to get that. If we did get a move up here, what I'd then be looking for would be to see whether we get something like this, rather, where this move is actually completed already, and then we're looking for another wave 1 and 2. This would the thing within this count is this would indicate that we could be seeing a substantial drop where this becomes a 1-2, this becomes a 1-2, this becomes a 1-2. You know, it would indicate that for the first third wave, if we had to move up to that 0.618, you know, it would indicate that we'd have to actually drop down towards this 15.28. Just that would be just for this first move here, and then we'd have an additional fourth and a fifth, and then one more fourth and a fifth. So there'd be 2 additional fourths and fifths after that point, if that's okay. So it would be quite a substantial move to the downside, though. We haven't lost these key support zones, and you can see we're sort of flirting with this top channel line again. It'll be interesting to see whether we maintain this and whether we can actually start to move away, or whether we actually start to break back down and it starts to turn back into resistance. But really, until we actually take this 1461, we need to be aware that we can still look for upside potential. If we did form a bigger 5-wave structure down here, I've just based this off of this first 5-wave move here. Basically 1545 would be the 1.618 of this. If it did extend out, we could argue that potentially we could look to move down lower towards the 2.618, which would be this 1449. That could be a zone we actually look to move down to if we start to see some extensions within this third, and then we could potentially look for a fourth and a fifth. So this would change this structure slightly. I've just based this off of the first move here, but the internals are suggesting that we could potentially be getting some extension down if we do continue to hold these highs, where we actually look for a bigger ABC pattern. So this is, once again, looking for that potential to come back into the support zone. So we need to be aware that these things, both possibilities are open for. As long as we hold the support zone, you know, we can look for that bullish potential to the upside, but really, once we start to lose these key areas that we talked about within this count here, once we start to lose this 15-16 zone, it becomes less likely that that we're going to be continuing this move to the upside here. You know, I'd want to see this bottom channel line hold, and I'd also want to see this green supports range hold. Ideally, we wouldn't want to see that move past that 15-16, and then we could still look for that push to the upside. But losing this red line, this 1461, would indicate to me that we're coming down into these regions, or potentially looking to break down even further. We'll have to monitor this structure as it plays out. There is also the possibility that we could still break down deeper and still look to come back down and take this 1150 zone. So we need to be aware of that fact. If we want to look for bullish structure, what we need to do is complete this 5-wave move, look for this retracement down into these zones, and then potentially look for that additional C wave to the upside. So if I just zoom out here a little bit, it's a mess. Basically looking at this as an A, a B, and a C to the upside. So these are all possibilities. You know, what we want to see for this, if we want to be bullish, we want to see this retracement down here, finding the support, and then looking for this push to the upside. But yeah, so we're going to monitor the moves. We'll probably give you an update a little bit later once we have a bit more information. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to leave it at for now. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description below, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Once you're in the general chat area, just mention a member of staff, and we'll be happy to help you out with anything you may need. In the description below, you'll also find affiliate links for BYBIT and PrimeXBT, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis for our trading. Check them out if you don't have an account. Using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Just make sure, if you're going to be doing any trading, make sure you're using good risk management. We don't want to see people get burnt. You know, you need to be using your stop losses, positioning yourself correctly, and yeah, you want to be trading responsibly. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one.